Hey cool cats, Roz and Neko here, and welcome to the Kitty Corner where I give my final thoughts on any ultimate content that I've finished, and today we're going to be continuing with My Next Life as a Villainous, All Routes Lead to Doom, Pirates of the Disturbance. Now this is one that I felt a lot while I was playing it, and there was good, bad, and quite a bit in between. Now I'm going to start off with one of my favorites, which is Nicole. Nicole honestly came out of nowhere for me because first I was very interested in Keith. I'd always wanted to play a route where there was like a bit of like a brother context. I was never a fan of like that playthrough where there was always like the friend route. It never interested me because I felt like it was very overdone. You get routes where there's like the friends and stuff, and I've been in that situation before where people make fun of you and a friend, and it's been in multiple ways. Like, yeah, you're interested in a friend and you get made fun of and it gets annoying, or then you're friends with someone but you're actually not interested in them, so then it gets frustrating. And then in routes in games in general, it gets overdone. But then when you're doing it in like a sibling context, again, it's because it's like an iffy territory. But then in a game, when it's like step siblings or whatever, I've never done that before, so it's like, oh, okay, what kind of waters are these? And this is a game where it's meant to be funny, so I'm like, oh, okay, so how are they going to do it in this one? So I'm going to go over Keith's route in a different part, but Nicole just came out of nowhere for me because one, he was a better brother, and two, he's supposed to be a kudera, and a kudera is someone who's not really in tune with their emotions. They don't really give reactions. But Nicole, I just did not give that essence. You got the perspective of the heroine, but then you also got his perspective, and all of his thoughts made sense. He was like, oh, I'm not sure like what kind of gift Katerina would want, but I know that she likes this. All of his thoughts made sense, and he got like the perfect gift for her. And it's not that he didn't care, he was just mentally thinking about it, and it just made sense. I don't know, it's not like the feelings weren't there. It's not like he was thinking like, oh, I want to get her the best gift in the world. I don't know, I just really like that perspective. That's why I really was surprised by Nicole, and his route was very different from everyone else's, which didn't make sense. Why did his route have a ghost story in it? Which I'm not complaining, it added to the lore of the game of why the mist and fog and stuff was still there the whole time. It did make me wonder, because I know the guys were like the whole point of the game, and that there is a manga on this. There is a side story with the girls Maria, Mary, and Sophia, but I haven't had a chance to read it and get into the series in general. But it did make me wonder which of the girls, if they were like options, would I want to date or anything. At first I was going to say Mary because she's like such a fighter and she really like fights to be with the heroine, but then I kind of felt like she was too much at times. So then I was thinking about Maria because she is like super sweet and chill, and when I think about being with like partners or characters and things like that, I feel like I am best with, even like with for like friends wise and stuff, probably people that either like match my energy, but probably I should pick people that are the opposite, because in real life I am actually a very as much as like my voice right now is going like into chill mode, I am a very energetic person, but I should be with people that like chill me out, because there are times where I need to like cool off, get down, and my mind can get like pretty hectic, but I need to like cool down, and Maria would be that person. And actually, as a matter of fact, now that I think about it, so would Nicole. Nicole is more of like a calm tune kind of thing. Sophia, though, I didn't really consider her, but I feel like she would be a fantastic sister. She was like a wing girl for Nicole and Katerina, and I loved her for it, and she and I would definitely get along reading like romance novels and stuff. I love romance so much. I just love love in general. It's always been a thing for me since I was young. So yeah, I just love her for that in general. Another character that I would consider like getting into a relationship with is Rosie, but honestly no other character really stood out to me, and I had to think about Rosie being an option because Rosie is super sweet, super considerate, but I don't get those romantic feelings for her. I just don't, and I had to just think about it. It's just like a fact. He's super sweet, he makes it, and he's really smart. He gets into everything, inventing things, making medicine, thinking about what people need, and just like making it, running his own like country town down and stuff. Yeah, but I had to think about it just being like compatibility wise, and he's like up and running and doing things. Didn't really care for like Katarina getting almost basically losing her life. Didn't enjoy that part of the game in that route. Yeah, no one else really stood out to me. Getting onto Keith and Keith's route, he comes into third place for me. Going back into what I was saying before about like the whole sibling thing, that interested in me because I wanted to see what that was like, and it was actually a decent introduction to the whole sibling thing, but I didn't like the way that they did it in this game because he kept calling her sister practically the whole time until literally at the very end when they were getting like engaged and stuff. So he did that literally until like the very end. So I didn't like it because it showed that he still saw her that way or had it as a habit, and that just rubbed me the wrong way, and I couldn't really understand it because he never explained it. So that, and the other thing that I really didn't like, he kept nagging her like, and I'm gonna use it the way he phrased it too, like, sister, you need to not eat so much, sister, you need to stop running, sister, you need to act more like a lady, and things like that. He just kept nagging her, and a couple things of that is like, dude, just let the girl be at times. And at the same time too, I kind of get it, like, she's been in this game for like a while now. She needs to at least have some common sense. I know it's a comedy game, but of quite a number of like the otome content that I've read and watched and played, quite a number of the heroines, in order to survive, got it together, and she still goofed around. But again, it's a different series, it's supposed to be funny. So still going on to it, there were some weird bad endings. Like, one of the endings was her falling off the ship, which was like, okay, and she stayed on a floaty, which is like, okay, I'm kind of worried and feel bad for her. Another one though, which really confused me, was that she kept eating so much and was put into a different room and closer to the kitchen because she kept eating so much, and that didn't make sense because her friends are so obsessed with her that when she was out of the room, they started getting upset because they didn't know where she was, or they thought that she was like captive somewhere, and they would start like fighting for her, demanding to know where she was. So if she was in another room, how are they okay with that then but not earlier? And then in the end, she like got so big she couldn't get out of the room when the ship was like attacked or whatever, and that was like one of the bad routes because then she like sank with the ship or something. So some of the endings didn't make sense, but those were the two that just like stood out to me or whatnot. Alan is one of my picks to be with the heroine, and that hasn't happened before. While going through Alan's route, I called him, in my review, I called him a wannabe tsundere because he would just say things like in like a chill tone, like, and like I said before, like, hey, don't run, you're gonna fall and hurt yourself. And this didn't happen in the game, but let's just say like, hey, don't run, you're gonna hurt yourself, and she would like trip and fall, and he's like, yep, that happened. And normally a tsundere would be like, oh, you idiot, and they would maybe like help her up, but he didn't do anything like that. He's just like, let me help you up, and he would actually help her up, which shows that like he cares. He would actually do things for her. And at the same time though, that they're both like airheads, they care about each other and help each other out. So even though he's kind of like hard-headed, she's always like, oh, hey, that's not something you should be worried about, do your best, you matter too. And he's like, oh, hey, someone actually cares about me. So she's supportive of him, but he can also do the same for her, like, hey, be careful, you matter to me. Because he's not such a tsundere, he can actually say and do those things. And then she's like, oh yeah, you're right. So they can both do that for each other. So I just felt like they were like the best relationship and like the most realistic, to be honest. So I felt like they were a very good pair. And someone pointed out when I was on the internet that Maria was a better heroine than Katarina. I can see why Katarina was placed as a heroine, is to make it a comedy, but I can also see why Maria would be a better heroine because she's very soft-spoken, very nice, and tries to stand up for her friends and stuff. And that honestly is what makes a heroine, is that she does those kind of things. And if she was actually made to like be a hero and stuff, I can see how they would manipulate and use that. I can see why people would also be mad at Katarina. It's just not that kind of series though, and I can see why they would be upset because it did kind of bother me at times with Katarina, and I did want the series to like be more serious, but it's just not that kind of game. It's not that kind of series, you know. It's just meant to be funny. And then going back to to Silva. I was very, very disappointed when I got to his route, because in everyone else's route, he was like very confident and didn't care what anyone else said, and he was like so smooth about it, especially when he was talking to, I'm gonna call him Gio, but like Gerardo or whatever, because one of my favorite phrases that he said in the game was that this was at a point where Katarina was like trying to get fat. She was trying to eat. She was trying to increase her weight because she didn't like how Gio carried her. And all her friends were just being supportive, especially her female friends. They were all being supportive and just helping her. And Gio was just like, well, that's not good for you. And I can kind of see that, where he's just like, trying to keep her healthy. But Silva was just laughing and was like, go girl, you do you. Silva looked at Gio and was like, you're the only one having a problem with this. And I thought that was pretty slick. And Gio had to look himself over. And Silva kept that attitude with like everybody in the game. And I was like, I am really interested in Silva. He doesn't have the full long hair, but he has most of it. He has black hair. He's pretty chill and cool with everybody. I want to see what his route is like. I want to see what his personality was like. But within the first couple questions, like the first couple chapters, I was so disappointed to see that he was just a player. And when I say that, it's not like he's trying to hit on everybody. He's just trying to use his good looks to get away with things in the game because he has to get the story through and stuff. But it's not working on Katarina. That's not how the game is supposed to play out. And he's surprised that it's not working, again, because it's that kind of it's that kind of personality thing, like, oh, my looks aren't working. They usually do. It doesn't work on this girl. Oh, now I'm gonna have an interest in her because it's my usual tactics aren't working. This is so interesting. It's so weird. It's that kind of route. I just didn't like it. I'm not the type of person that likes flirts because it just doesn't seem, it's just not real. I like characters that are more real, and when you're not real, you're just using your face, it's just all fake. Silva said to like every character, you have to be really real, but he's using his looks and that's not real. He's pointing at everybody else to be real and he's being like the most fake. I don't know. I would love to hear everyone else's opinion on it, and Gio is my least favorite character ever in like all of existence. And he's just like the one step away of being a yandere, and they're supposed to be like good endings, and it's just a bad ending if you ask me. And I don't know, I would normally be into it, but he just sets me off. He's just so possessive and controlling, and that's just what it is about it. Just fake. If you just like ask me, just playing his route, there was just like one key point where he gets into it with Katarina. The moment before he kisses her, the key thing is that he says essentially that he doesn't care about being friends with anybody, he just wants her. And he admits it to everybody that that's what he said when everybody confronts him. And everybody brushes it off and they're like, oh, we know you didn't mean that. You were just upset and da da da. No. That's not how it works. There's a lot of ways to look at it. There is a chance that his feelings can be true about what he said, and I honestly believe that he meant what he said. I wholeheartedly believe that he is being very 100% fake about being friends with everybody. He just wants to be with Katarina because growing up, he didn't really care about anything. He just mastered everything that he was practically doing. He didn't have honest feelings. Being with Katarina threw him off because he didn't know what to expect. And in order to be with Katarina, he had to put on a fake smile and just had a disdain being with everybody. And at no point did he say that he was happy being with anybody. He didn't say that, oh, he enjoyed being with anybody. He didn't say he experienced good feelings with anybody. He just kept saying that he was irritated that he had to be around so many other people. And if it was a tsundere, they would like brush it off or, things like that. And that would make sense, but he's not defined as a tsundere. And it's even harder because this otome game isn't really an otome game. They set it up so that this game is more set up to be like an anime, so it's even harder to see it. So they don't really give us enough good clues or setup to really understand, does he honestly feel anything towards his friends or everyone that he's forced to be around? Does he honestly like them or not? His twin brother may be, because that's his brother, for Pete's sake. Everybody else, no. And I honestly would have to watch the anime or read the series in order to see if he actually has a relationship with anybody else. But just going based off the game alone, no. So I honestly honestly believe that he's just being fake. He's had to do it most of his life just to be with Katarina. So no, he just feels fake to me. He's had to do it most of his life, and it's still up to this point just to be around with her. So no, I wholeheartedly dislike him. And his other ending that isn't good, he kept her in his house, told no one, and locked her in there, and she doesn't know anything about it. The other bad ending that he actually has, which honestly makes sense, is when she accidentally doesn't live anymore because I can't remember, she accidentally falls on Silva's sword, let's just say, but something because she accidentally got into the fight with Silva and Gio involved. He set the whole island on fire, no questions asked, just did it. And then I don't recall, but I think everybody else was still on the island, but he had no hesitation and just did it. He didn't care. He did it. And I'm pretty sure he would do it again with everybody still on the island because the love of his life just done. Gio is just about one step away from being a yandere, but the big difference is that he's more controlling than anything. I don't want to say he always tells Katarina what to do, but the thing about a yandere is that they're usually innocent, and he mostly does that, and he has the switch sometimes where he gets a little aggressive. No, Katarina, you should come with me. But he does the same thing that Keith does, where he's like, Katarina, you should be careful, you should come with me, let me walk you to the ball and things like that. But he's more insistent on it, and I don't know, he's just more aggressive with it and is insistent on things, and he really just kind of tells her what to do and drags her around throughout the series. And I really just didn't like the tone of it. It just really shows all over. So I think that's just the really big difference, is yanderes are usually a lot nicer or something about it, and I feel they give the heroine more of a choice in things, because that's what they're usually nice about. They're usually welcoming and stuff to kind of give that false sense of security before they're no, now you're gonna stay in a dungeon with me. Yeah, no, he just came off way more controlling with it, which is why I really don't like him. That's my opinion on him. But I'm definitely more interested in watching the anime. I watched the anime opening, and I honestly just want to watch it. I saw more characters in the opening. I want to see what more it has to offer. I accidentally saw some screenshots of the anime, and I'm I want to know what the flip is going on, because I can't even imagine what's going on, and I just want to see it. I think the last time I heard there was a season 2, and I don't even know, and I just want to watch it now. It does have me rethink of the limited and one-day editions. It makes me reconsider the value of what's in there. So I'm going to redo the unboxings because I revamped my channel. I want to redo how I'm doing it. I want to focus on doing more VTuber content. I enjoy it more, and I'm more comfortable with doing VTuber stuff. So thank you, my pretty little kitties, for joining me today. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you cool cats next time. Bye.